If you are a man over 60, I want you to listen very closely. Have you started waking up in the middle of the night, not just once, but 2, 3, or even 4 times, feeling that urgent need to go? Or maybe you stand at the toilet for what feels like an eternity, waiting for a stream that's become weak and hesitant. Perhaps the most frustrating part is that feeling you get just minutes after you've finished, that nagging sense that your bladder never quite emptied completely. For generations, we've been told this is just a normal part of getting older, an unavoidable rite of passage into our senior years. But what if that isn't true? What if these aren't just random symptoms of aging, but a direct warning sign from a critical part of your body? These symptoms are signs that something deeper is happening inside your body. It's your prostate, and it is desperately trying to get your attention. As a prostate health researcher, I have seen it time and time again. The issues that plague so many men are not simply caused by the number of candles on a birthday cake. In a vast number of cases, it is not your age that is causing the problem. It is your daily habits. These are quiet, seemingly insignificant things you do every day, perhaps without even a second thought, that quietly make your prostate grow larger, heavier, and harder to manage. But here's the good news. Once you know what these habits are, you can change them. And when you do, you give your body the chance to restore its natural balance, reduce the pressure, and take back the comfort and control you deserve. In this video, I am going to walk you through 3 everyday habits that secretly contribute to prostate enlargement and, more importantly, what you can start doing instead, beginning today. The first habit that silently enlarges your prostate over time is something incredibly simple, something almost all of us are guilty of, especially when we're out and about, busy with errands, or simply don't want to use a public restroom. It is the habit of holding your urine for too long. Now, you might be thinking that waiting a little while to go until you finish a long drive, get to the end of a movie, or wrap up a task at home is no big deal. On the surface, it feels harmless, just a matter of convenience. But when this becomes a daily pattern, when you consistently hold it for long stretches before allowing yourself to empty your bladder, you are creating a pressure cooker environment right at the core of your body. And that pressure doesn't just stay in the bladder. It directly impacts the entire prostate region. You see, to understand why this is so damaging, you need to visualize where your prostate is. It's a small, soft gland that sits directly beneath your bladder, right at its base. And it does something very unique. It wraps around your urethra, which is the tube that carries urine from the bladder out through the penis. Think of the prostate as a soft, flexible collar around this vital passageway. When your bladder is empty or only partially full, everything is relaxed. But when your bladder becomes too full, whether from holding it in for hours or simply from the increased frequency that comes with age, it doesn't just expand upwards. It also expands downwards, pushing and pressing directly onto the delicate tissue of the prostate. Imagine leaning your full body weight on a soft, sensitive sponge. For a moment, it's fine. But if you do it for hours every single day, year after year, that sponge will become compressed, irritated, and damaged. That is exactly what is happening to your prostate. This repeated pressure creates a state of chronic, low-grade inflammation. The prostate tissue, which is meant to be soft and pliable, becomes irritated and stressed. In response to this constant stress, the tissue starts to thicken and swell. This is the very beginning of what doctors call benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH, the clinical term for an enlarged prostate. As that prostate collar swells, it begins to squeeze the urethra running through its center. This is what creates that frustrating, weak urine stream and the maddening delay before you can even start to go. Your body is trying to release urine, but the passageway is being constricted. This leads to an even more serious problem: bladder outlet obstruction. Because the pathway is narrowed, your bladder muscle has to work significantly harder to push urine out. Over time, this constant strain weakens the bladder muscle itself, much like an overstretched rubber band loses its snap. A weakened bladder can no longer contract forcefully enough to push all the urine out. This is why you're left with that persistent feeling of not being fully empty, and why you have to go again so soon after. The residual urine left behind means your bladder fills up to capacity much faster, triggering those urgent, frequent trips to the bathroom, especially in the middle of the night when your body is trying to rest. This single, seemingly harmless habit creates a devastating vicious cycle. Holding urine causes pressure. Pressure causes enlargement. Enlargement obstructs flow, and obstruction weakens the bladder, leading to more frequent urges and even more pressure. Thankfully, the solution is just as simple as the problem. This isn't about bladder training or complicated exercises. It's about a small, mindful shift in your behavior. Start listening to your body's first, gentle signals. When you feel the need to go, go. Don't wait until the urge becomes a pressing, uncomfortable emergency. Responding to that first signal relieves the constant downward pressure and helps your entire urinary system stay in a healthier, more natural rhythm. This might seem like a small change, but over time, it can lift an enormous weight off your prostate, giving it the space it needs to calm down, heal, and shrink back toward its normal size. Now let us shift to the second habit, and this one surprises a lot of men because it seems completely unrelated to urinary health at first glance. It is the habit of ignoring constipation. When your bowel is full of compacted stool, especially from a diet lacking in fiber and water, that pressure pushes directly against the back of the prostate. To truly understand this, you need to picture the anatomy of your pelvic region. Your rectum, the final section of your large intestine, sits directly behind your prostate. They're immediate neighbors, separated only by a thin wall of tissue. When your bowels are empty and moving regularly, there is no issue. But when you are constipated, your rectum becomes filled with hard, compacted waste. This isn't a momentary pressure like a full bladder. It is a constant, unyielding physical force. Think of it like having a brick permanently sitting against that soft sponge we talked about. All day, every day, it stresses the tissue, it limits circulation, it irritates the nerves, and it creates a low-grade inflammation that does not just stay in the colon. It spreads to the surrounding structures, including the prostate. And here is the kicker. Over time, that chronic inflammation is one of the major contributors to benign prostatic hyperplasia, or what most men know as an enlarged prostate. But it doesn't stop there. Constipation also messes with your internal chemistry. When stool stays in the body for too long, it throws off your gut bacteria, that delicate ecosystem inside your digestive tract. When that balance is off, it creates system-wide inflammation, affecting everything from your immune system to your prostate. The modern diet, particularly for older adults, often contributes to this without us even realizing. It tends to be high in refined carbohydrates, low in fiber, and often filled with processed foods, cheese, red meat, and not nearly enough water. These choices slow digestion, dry out stool, and cause the bowels to back up, sometimes without you even noticing right away. What starts as occasional sluggishness turns into a vicious cycle. The constipation causes pressure. That pressure inflames the prostate. The inflammation worsens the swelling, and the swelling worsens your urinary symptoms. So if you are not going to the bathroom regularly, or if your stools are hard, dry, or leave you straining, your prostate may be taking the brunt of that internal imbalance. Thankfully, the solution is well within your reach, and it doesn't require drastic measures. You can begin to gently increase your fiber through natural, soothing sources. Think about adding more cooked vegetables, fruits like prunes or pears, whole grains like oats, and simple digestive aids like chia seeds or ground flax seeds to your diet. These foods not only soften your stools and improve transit time, they also reduce the internal pressure on your prostate from the inside out. When your bowels move freely and completely, your prostate finally gets to relax. It's like clearing a crowded hallway. Everything flows better when the path is open. Now, let us talk about the third habit, one that is incredibly common, especially in the retirement years when routines slow down and comfort becomes more important than activity. And that habit is sitting for long, uninterrupted periods of time. Whether it is relaxing in front of the television, sitting at a desk with a cup of tea, scrolling through your phone, or reading a good book in your favorite armchair, the hours can pass by quickly. And before you know it, your body has been inactive for far too long. What feels restful on the outside can actually become stagnant on the inside. You see, the pelvic area, where your bladder, colon, and prostate all live in close quarters, is built for subtle, continuous motion. It thrives on circulation. It needs blood flow and gentle movement to keep nutrients coming in and waste being carried away. But when you sit for long stretches without moving, that lower part of your body stagnates. The simple act of sitting puts direct physical pressure on the pelvic floor, compressing the delicate network of blood vessels that feed the prostate. As a result, circulation slows down. Oxygen and vital nutrients stop flowing freely to the prostate tissue. At the same time, lymph drainage, which is your body's natural waste removal system, weakens. This means your body becomes less efficient at removing the toxins and inflammatory byproducts that naturally accumulate in your cells. And where do those byproducts start to collect? Right in the area where your prostate lives. The prostate is a soft, delicate gland. It is not built to handle constant stagnation. Like any living tissue, it needs good blood flow to stay healthy. When that flow is restricted for hours every day, the prostate can become inflamed, swollen, and irritated. Over time, this contributes to the kind of slow, silent growth that leads to prostate enlargement. Men who sit for long periods daily without incorporating movement are far more likely to develop pelvic tension, chronic low-level inflammation, and, eventually, enlargement of the prostate. And it often happens without obvious symptoms until the discomfort, urgency, or disrupted sleep shows up months or years later. This is why I recommend what I call movement snacks throughout the day. These are not about running a marathon or even breaking a sweat. These are small, simple bursts of gentle activity designed to do one thing: wake up your circulation and remind your pelvic area that it is still alive and needed. You do not have to go jogging. You do not need to lift weights. Even something as modest as standing up every 30 to 40 minutes, walking across the room, taking a few deep breaths while gently swinging your legs, or stretching your lower back can bring life back into that part of your body. Think of your prostate like a sponge again. If it never gets squeezed, never moved, it starts to stiffen and collect old, stagnant waste. But when you move, even just a little, you help that sponge stay soft, fresh, and well-nourished. Movement is not just about staying in shape. It is about keeping the core of your body vibrant, alive, and responsive, especially the hidden parts you do not see, but that quietly shape your comfort, your energy, and your quality of life. Even a few mindful minutes of movement every hour can help keep your prostate healthier for years to come. In fact, this very same stagnation and poor blood flow in the pelvic region is also one of the leading underlying causes of declining performance in the bedroom. Many men assume that difficulty achieving or maintaining a firm, youthful erection is just a part of aging, but a growing body of scientific research points to this internal stagnation as a primary culprit. When blood can't flow freely, performance naturally suffers. But what if you could reverse this? There's a separate, eye-opening video I need you to see. It reveals a bizarrely simple, 100% natural home remedy that takes only 7 seconds a day, yet it's designed to tackle this exact root cause of male performance issues head-on. To watch it now, just open the camera on your phone and point it at the QR code you see on the screen. It will take you straight to the video. If you're watching on your phone, you can also click the link I've pinned at the very top of the comments section below. Do not miss this. So now you know. 3 quiet, everyday habits that slowly contribute to prostate enlargement: holding your urine too long, neglecting your fiber intake, and allowing constipation, and sitting for hours without movement. These are not dramatic, life-altering issues, but that is precisely what makes them so dangerous. They sneak in without much noise, and over the years, they create a world of discomfort, urgency, and frustration. But here is the power in all of this. Every single one of these habits can be changed gently, gradually, and with care. You do not need to overhaul your entire life or start from scratch. You simply need to bring awareness to how your daily choices affect your prostate. I have seen men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s dramatically improve their symptoms, reduce their nighttime trips to the bathroom, regain a stronger flow, and feel more at ease in their own bodies, just by shifting these core behaviors. So if you have been feeling frustrated, uncomfortable, or even a little afraid of what is happening down there, take a deep breath. You are not alone, and you are not powerless. Your prostate does not need to rule your life. You can take care of it, just like it has been trying to take care of you. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe and share it with a friend. Sometimes, the most powerful changes come from the smallest bits of knowledge. Thank you for watching, and remember, your health is not behind you, it is in your hands, and the best is still to come.